Okay, we're back with our slope here. We're going to use scatter this time. Scatter is a modifier that allows you to basically scatter or place a bunch of other objects on a surface, like our slope. In this case, we're going to get set back up how you'll see it. It's under Create, Geometry, Standard Primitives, and we're going to make a geosphere. I'm just going to drag it out over here. Geosphere looks like an Epcot Center or a soccer ball. It doesn't have the little tiny vertice catch at the top and the bottom like the regular sphere does, and it's going to work good for what we're going to do with it. I'm going to go under Modify. Under Segments, I'm going to lower the segments a little bit just so it's a little bit easier to work with. And I'm going to smash it using Scale, pulling on the Z-axis here. I'm going to smash it down and kind of squish it. So that's what I have. Now I'm going to isolate this, right click and say isolate on that. And what we're going to do is make like a little rock-like structure. I'm going to apply noise on top of it, which is a modifier. Noise by itself isn't going to do very much. You have to put the strength on it and the scale. So between this setting, this one, and this one, we'll get something that will work. And sometimes it just kind of takes some guesses here. I'm going to guess a little bit. I'm going to bring the strength down. See how it's starting to deform it? We don't want that. That's not good. By the way, that's how you make those Euro collages that you see all over the place. But what we want is something right around, I don't want any real sharp lines on it. How about right about there? That looks good. Yeah, that's kind of deforming it a little bit. And you can change the scale if you want it to be smaller. But remember, you can go back down to Geosphere, Show End Result On, and if you add more segments, you will get a more distorted shape because there's more segments for it to bend. So if I go back to noise now and I change the settings, let's go higher instead of lower. How about 45, 45, 45, and I'll lower or lengthen the scale, heighten scale. There we go. The scale is how big the noise is that's moving through it. So that's kind of distorted. That's going to work good for our little rock. You can also add more noise on top of noise to get good results. So here's another noise modifier on top of this. This time I'm going to add 67, 67, and 67. And I'll drop the scale down right to about there. And I can kind of distort this shape a little bit more. So what I end up with is like a pebble or something along those lines. Now I'm going to right click, actually I'm going to go back down to my geosphere and get rid of a few polygons. And then right click on the top and say collapse all and say yes. And now I've got a solid mesh, no modifiers left in it. I'm going to make this an editable poly. And we're going to get out of isolation mode. So now I'm going to scatter this all over this surface. You select the object that you want to scatter. It's in a weird spot. Create, Geometry, Compound Objects. We've been here before with Loft and Boolean. Here's Scatter. I'm going to click that. And then the big button right here, Pick Distribution Object. That's the slope. You'll see that it'll jump over to the slope. And now we're looking for something that says how many we can make. You can see as I make more of these, they will scatter about the slope until there's a whole bunch of them. So now you can change this. So instead of even, I could put something like area, which will cover this whole area. You could also line them along edges, vertices, which tends to make a very even pattern, all vertices, all edge midpoints, which is going to be similar. That makes kind of an interesting object here. Looks like a piece of coral or something. I'm going to go with even. You can see them. Well, not even. Sorry, I want area. That's what I want. And now I can change these a little bit more by going under transforms and scaling. I can change the scaling on a percent to be different for each one. So let's see, what do we want to do here? Well, I'll let you play with these. I don't want to spend too much time with them. You can rotate them, so this will rotate. There's also a randomize button in here somewhere that I'm totally missing. I'm looking for it right now. And I am not going to remember where it is, I think. Yeah, great. That was good. Anyways, there is a randomize button in here, but now I've just gone blank and I can't for the life of me remember where it is. So if I render this, you'll see that I get something that looks like a surface with pebbles scattered across it. Now we're moving into the environmental stuff with our tank, so this will come back and maybe be helpful for you when you make the scene itself. One word is, if you're going to texture these rocks, texture them before you scatter them, and we cover texturing next week. Okay, so that's scatter. Don't make too many and don't make them too high poly or you'll crash max.